Hello everybody. Happy Monday. I hope you're having a very good day today, and I hope your week is starting off okay. So, I have some fun stuff I'm going to be doing this week for all of you here in Facebook land, and for probably doing a different version of it over on TikTok, but I'm going to be busting some super common myths that are out there. Basically lies, because from all the conversations I have with women, they are one of the things that is holding you guys back. And the more I can help you, sorry, I'm just trying to get my iPad up so I can see. The more I can help you bust through those, the better off I think you will be. And that's my goal. So I want to tell you a little story here before I jump into this one. So today is the lie that your metabolism just slows down when you hit menopause, around 50, whatever it is. So this woman, before I started working with her, she was in perimenopause. She was doing all the right things, or so she thought. She was following WW, right? New version of Weight Watchers. She was tracking her food. She was tracking her calories too. She was staying under her points, or she was using right at her points. She was limiting her 0-point food. So she was staying at 1,200 calories. So she was calling it a success, right? She was able to maintain this. And in WW's eyes, that is a success, right? Like, she was doing all these things, but she wasn't losing any weight. So what was she telling herself? Oh, it's my metabolism. I'm in menopause, right? I'm almost 50. This is just what I'm stuck with. It just doesn't work anymore. My metabolism doesn't work. Have you ever said anything close to that? I hear a lot of different variations of that story all the time from women. And it's not surprising that when we believe that, when we're thinking to ourselves, oh, it must be a problem with my metabolism, right? It stops us from looking for any other explanation. So for this woman, she wasn't questioning the method. She was questioning her own body. Does that make sense? So then what did she do? She doubled down. She tries to do it harder. She does it cleaner. She works out harder. And still no results. Meanwhile, she is doing the exact things that will cause her metabolism to not operate at its full efficiency. Eating too little, increasing stress, losing muscle. And for her, and this might not be for everybody, but she was avoiding carbs. Why? Because that's what she was told. So here she is. She thinks it's menopause. She thinks it's her metabolism. But the truth is, it was the plan she was following that is failing her. So one of the biggest lies women are told, and I know forever, right, is that our metabolism slows down when we hit menopause, when we hit 50, something along those lines. We've heard it for years and years, and most of us believed it. But here is the truth. Our metabolism never stops working, right? I hear from a lot of you, hair on my face, and you'll say something in Messenger like, oh, my metabolism just doesn't work anymore. Not the case, because you wouldn't be alive. But your metabolism, it can adapt to what you're doing. But here's the good news. The fact that it's adaptable means you're not powerless. So let's just talk really quick about what metabolism is. Metabolism is your body's process of turning food into energy. It's not any one organ. It's not one switch, but it is a complete system in your body. And your thyroid is a really big part of it. Now, we will be talking about the lie about thyroid coming down the road in this week. But you want to think about your thyroid as kind of like the conductor of your metabolic orchestra. And here's something that you might not know. Do you want to know what your thyroid loves? Carbohydrates. When you cut carbs, your thyroid function, even without you being hypothyroid, can slow down. So if you have been avoiding carbs, thinking it will speed things up, you might actually be doing the opposite. But anyway, so that's what your metabolism is, right? It's a whole system, your metabolic system in your body. And again, you probably have been told that it just crashes. right? But here's the research. Here's the science. Research shows that our metabolism starts to change much earlier than we realized, right? And it's a much more gradual change. It slightly slows each year, starting in our 30s and then in our 40s. And around 60, it might slow a little bit more than it had been per year. But it's not this huge sudden shift, right? It's not just age that is making it seem like your metabolism is broken, making it seem like your metabolism doesn't work. It's everything that's happening around the same time, right? It's chronic stress, it's poor sleep, it's years of dieting, yes, which will cause it to be sluggish, and it's continuing to undereat. It is when we lose muscle, absolutely affects our metabolism. Skipping meals, cutting out food groups like carbs, all of these habits make your metabolism sluggish, make it less efficient, but they don't break it. It's just not possible, right? Again, you wouldn't be walking, you wouldn't be breathing, you wouldn't be standing up. Okay. So this is really good news, because if your metabolism was truly broken, there would be nothing you could do, but your body's still running, again, just not as efficiently. So this means there's lots you can do about it. Isn't that great? You are not at the mercy of your age. You're not at the mercy of your body. You're not at the mercy of your hormones. And you definitely don't need metabolism boosting powders or magic supplements. I just have to make sure I say this really quick. Most of those are just expensive versions of caffeine. There is no scientific evidence that it will actually have any kind of long-term effect on your metabolism. It might be a short-term jolt, but they do not fix the problem. Okay. You need to support the system in your body that already exists. Okay. So how do we support our metabolism? Well, let me tell you how we support our metabolism. You have to fuel your body with real food, especially enough calories, not without stuffing yourself, and carbohydrates, right? So we want to be focusing on whole foods, lean proteins, lots and lots and lots of fiber, and some good healthy fats, right? And we have to be eating enough for our body. We cannot be starving ourselves. Yes, we need a calorie deficit if we want weight loss, but it's not the extreme calorie deficit that we did when we were younger and got results with, right? So we need to build muscle. Muscle is more metabolically active than fat. When we have more muscle in our body, it helps us to burn more calories even when we are at rest. We have to be getting quality and quantity sleep. We have to. We've got to be letting our body recover. So working out is great. Overworking out, not so great. We need to, for most women, fasting, even if it worked when you were younger, might not be having the same effects. And these are some of the reasons why. When you deprive your body of these calories, you increase your stress, right? When you ignore your body when it tells you it's hungry, physical hunger, and you don't answer it, you increase your cortisol. And we have a much bigger effect from cortisol now than we ever did when we were younger. So skipping meals, going to the extremes does not usually work the same. Again, moving regularly, but not overtraining. You don't need to eat every 2 hours to get your metabolism working again. You don't need to force yourself to eat 5 times a day. But you do need to start listening to your body. And you have to maybe first, which is kind of the way with almost everybody I work with, you have to first learn what's the difference between your brain telling you it's hungry and your body telling you it's hungry. Because those are two completely different things, right? And you have to be giving your body consistent support. Now, another thing that comes up around our metabolism, and a lot of women will say it in a very similar fashion, is that they have insulin resistance, so they just can't lose weight. Now, insulin resistance is a metabolic disorder. This is part of your metabolic symptom. And while it's not something to ignore, it is not something you're just stuck with either. Saying I can't lose weight because of insulin resistance is another thing that's just going to keep you from finding any solutions. Because when you believe that, what are you going to do? You're just going to be like, well, there's nothing I can do, right? Of course you will. Because your brain has got you believing that that's the way to go. You have to get out of the problem and look for the solutions. Hi, Lynn. I just now was able to see that. So insulin sensitivity, which would be the opposite of insulin resistance, can be improved. And it's the very same things that support your metabolism and support your hormones that are going to do it, right? Fueling your body, building muscle, managing stress, sleeping well. All of those things support your insulin too. Insulin is a hormone. Okay. And all of this is important because, as you may or may not know, diabetes is a metabolic disease. And a lot of women don't realize that insulin resistance is part of their metabolic health. And for a lot of women, it is a precursor to type 2 diabetes. So getting this in check now before it goes any further, really important. And the good news, just like your metabolism, there's so much you can do and it's changeable. Now, I can't not talk about the menopause hormones, right? I can't not talk about your stress hormones specifically. Estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. Yes, they all play a role. All your hormones play a role in everything in your body, but do they play a role in metabolism? Absolutely. When they shift, your body, as I just mentioned, can become more insulin resistant, store fat differently, and lose muscle more quickly. And your gut health, that matters too, because it affects how you absorb your nutrients, manage inflammation in your body, and regulate appetite. So hormones and gut health are part of the picture, but they are not the whole story, and they're not the end of the story. And all the same things that I just said we do to help support a more efficient metabolism are the same things that are going to help support your hormones and support good gut health, right? It's eating more whole foods. It's focusing on lean protein and lots of fiber. You don't have to be perfect in any of these things. It's eating when your body tells you it's hungry. It's giving your body rest when it asks you for rest. It's starting to become somebody who knows how to manage stress, who recognizes that their own thoughts in their brain cause excess cortisol in the body. It is not just financial. It's not just from your job. It's not just any of those things. Okay. I'm getting a little, this is when I get off my notes. I get a little excited. So I'm going to end with this. The fact that it's not your metabolism is really good news, because your metabolism, it's not broken. It's not, didn't stop. It's not, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I can't think of anything else to call it right now. It can change based on what you do. Everything you do is either going to support it, or it's probably going to keep it operating in the function that it's operating. And this goes whether or not you're taking hormone therapy or not. All of this matters for any woman who is blaming the metabolism for not losing weight. I promise you, it is not the issue. Maybe you're doing things that are making it more sluggish, and we can change all of those. So all week, this week, I'm going to be busting out stupid lies, myths like this, because you need more than all these metabolism boosting supplements are trying to sell you, all these quick fixes, all the bad advice, all the crap out there. I'm trying to help cut through the noise. So if this hits home, stay tuned for the rest of the week. Tomorrow we're going to be taking on another one about a really hot topic right now, which is protein. But I want to help you rebuild your foundation with real science and solutions so you can feel good again. And I just want you to leave with this. Your metabolism is not broken. Your body is not failing. It just needs a new kind of support from you, a different kind of support than it's ever needed probably your entire life. And that's not a bad thing. It just means you have to start looking at it from that standpoint. So if you have any questions, I'm always here to answer. And yeah, stay tuned for tomorrow. See you later.